This is right? When people start saying, well, how are you guys paying it out? People need to understand.
Right, we're now at risk.
I put a tweet out today about people lying.
At the moment, it's a little bit like personal trainers, right? Everybody's a personal trainer. There's nobody to actually train anymore.
It's good for the traders as well.
Yeah.
You two happy with 50?
Slamming the lamb.
Come on then.
There's ours.
Just wait there. Yeah, real.
50s and yours. And
No.
plenty.
No,
What are you
we'll
talking
just
about?
go.
Whoa,
We'll
whoa.
go.
What do you mean?
Hey, just because you eat beans on toast.
Well, you'll need to keep you'll need to keep that back for the old
100
double or
quid,
quits,
Jack.
won't you?
That's
Right,
it.
100 quid, 100 quid.
Come on then.
We'll even let you have the big queue.
Who breaks?
Yeah, who's going to break?
I'll bring a flick on.
Charlotte, would you like to hold the money? This is Charlotte, everyone. She's
He was going to say money
working
shot
with
then.
Danny. Say hello, Charlotte.
Hi.
Hi, Charlotte.
Just a bit
I'll keep it
weird.
safe.
Thank you very much, Charlotte. Appreciate you, yeah?
My pocket.
Keep it in your pocket. Have whatever you
Go
want.
runner.
Right, Georgie, you can call.
Go on, Eds.
Tails. What do we want to do, huh?
I think we should...
Let me
Wait,
break.
who's it? What, who,
Let me
is
break.
What, you're
it
playing
me
with
and
him,
Parney,
are
yeah?
Is it me and George winning? Is it?
Who's the
Oh,
teams then? Me and Parney. Come on,
Ledge.
let's go.
We should work that out, right.
So be careful I don't fall down the stairs.
That'd be a good start.
There we go, Al. We're in
Off and
business.
running.
Great shot.
Reds in the beds.
So I think we should... I think the whole point of this is to bring up a few... I wouldn't say issues, because I think all industries, especially a startup industry like prop, which is not worth that much as a whole at the moment in terms of financial services and the scalability of things, it's a very new market. There is, issues arising, I would say.
There is,
And I
yeah.
wouldn't say issues as in nothing that can be worked out, but as with any business and with any new business, as you've seen with cryptocurrency, as you've seen with marketing over the years, as you've seen with derivative trading over the years, there's going to be different changes throughout the industry. What do you where do you think this is going in general? I mean, we've just seen one firm that's just had their MT5 removed. We've seen another firm that looks like they've been lying and telling porcupines, which is not a good look on the industry in general.
No.
Where do you think this goes? Because in my opinion, those are the types of things that are going to bring unwanted attention, but at the same time, it's necessary to bring the attention to make sure people aren't getting fooled.
Yeah.
And
I
getting...
think the next natural evolution of the industry is more professionalism. As we've seen, Owanda's entered the market. I think you'll start to see bigger players, brokers, people with more experience enter the market.
And didn't you two have a meeting with a couple of big brokers here as well?
Yeah, there's a few brokers that have come to us and that are interested in the prop market. So the industry itself it's not going anywhere. But I think there's players, and not all of them. There's a lot of extremely good, prop firms and competition, which is excellent. But there are obviously companies out there that are not taking the correct risk mitigation, or they're not investing in the right space, or they're trying to cut corners and save costs here and do things quicker and faster. And by doing that, they're creating additional risk and overlooking risk in areas such as the third-party broker risk. I think that is, without a doubt, the largest risk to the industry.
And not a lot of
as a
people
whole.
think that, do they?
No one.
They
I don't- no
get it
one
wrong.
talk-
Like with
no-
us, they're always like attacking us.
No one
You've got
talks
that.
about it.
No.
Yeah. The reason I say third-party brokers is if the True Forex funds example, right? They lost their MetaQuotes license due to an API issue. So they was using a company called Meta API, which was connecting, non-compliantly to the accounts. Why they used that, I don't know. True Forex Funds was a good company, but they just used a wrong, API. MetaQuotes didn't like it, breach of contract, gone. If True Forex Funds was using 8cap as a broker, and they used the same, because 8cap doesn't give them APIs, you have to go and get your own connection APIs. So if True Forex Funds was using 8cap, and then the scenario that's just happened with them using 8cap, 8cap would have been the one that would have lost their license. So then you have to put yourselves in 8cap shoes, I've got 50 props using our broker, they're paying us 50,
Reputation.
100 grand, yeah. However, now my entire business, 8cap, the entire regulated brokerage services that they offer, multi-millions, they're making millions and millions a month, is now at risk.
Yeah.
Because
of the
prop.
prop.
But it's not reputational risk; it's business risk.
It's the whole entire business risk for these brokers. So they're then I presume they'd be silly not to be looking at all of the prop firms that are on their books and we're now at risk.
Yeah.
And we'll be the ones held liable. Or we'll lose our licenses based on.
But it's the same. It's the same for you though.
Overall, don't you think this is just a good cleanup?
It's
Maybe
good
a cleanup that's been needed.
I think it's a good cleanup, and I think there's firms that will, there's a lot of, again, it's not the whole entire industry. There's firms out there that, we know personally that are, taking the right steps, investing in the right places. They're doing good business. They're running their business correctly. But it's like you said, it's the cleanup. There's firms that, are cutting corners, and
do you
they'll
think
be slightly caught out
on that basis that at the moment it's a little bit like personal trainers, right? Everybody's a personal trainer. There's nobody to actually train anymore. So it's a little bit like the prop space, isn't it? Over the last 18 months, 3 years ago, you didn't even know what a prop firm was, right? Well, actually, you did back in the day, like the Refco type.
Yeah, the traditional props.
But 3 years ago, you wouldn't even know what a prop firm was. Now, everybody's a prop firm. Do you think because of this type of activity that we've seen lately, that you'll see a lot of consolidation in the space?
I do,
well?
and I think the barrier to entry is getting higher now.
Yes, definitely.
Because it's going to be harder to onboard with a broker because they should start putting.
Well, that's where the compliance risk lies.
Anyone could just call up, a tech provider, an 8-cap, and be switched on within a month. You only need, 30 grand is all someone would charge you just for the tech. Reach out to 8-cap, they'll switch you on, no questions asked, done.
And no understanding of how much money they've got. What business acumen they've got. Nothing.
No, but I think.
It's a natural.
I agree, and I think if there is consolidation, let's face it, it's 10 big players in this market, maybe roughly. I'm throwing a number out there, but it probably is that tight. That consolidates. A lot of other stuff gets kicked out, and it probably cleans up the prop space for the next 5 years to come.
It's good for the traders as well. So the participants. It's good for everyone. Although there'll be people that will, be caught out with a firm that goes under or.
But can I just say so? You say there's going to be 10 big firms. What is the differentiator for the punter that wants to start with us? Obviously, they want to come to us because we give them all the stuff. What tells you what is a good and bad firm?
It's the infrastructure. The experience behind the firm, who owns it, what's their experience, the backing that they've got, and then more importantly after that, it's the actual infrastructure. So do they have their own tech infrastructure? So like the most recent one that we saw, they had a fallout with their tech provider. So overnight, the tech provider just turned them off. Now, to be fair with that firm, I do think, we don't know exactly what's gone on there, but they've got their own tech on a different firm that they've got. So it could be, their tech provider doesn't like that they're doing X, Y, Z, and.
But there needs to be answers to the allegations as well. There needs to be answers.
But however you look at it, though, for the client, regardless what's going on, the risk is that they've got a third-party tech provider that they have no control over, no say over. At any moment in time that tech provider wakes up tomorrow and goes, I don't fancy doing business with you anymore.
Same with the broker.
So for the clients, when you're looking for security and safety, you've got to look at the infrastructure, like who's set up that can be unaffected when others are being affected. So, and what's going to affect others? Brokers can affect anyone. Anytime a broker says, I don't want to work with you anymore, then they're stuck. Anytime the tech provider says, I don't want to work with you anymore, for whatever reason, breach a contract, change their mind, whatever it may be, don't want to work with you, that's it.
Or even a pause, so a change in like regulatory stuff. They would go, oh, I don't want to work with anyone at the moment, we'll pause everything. Underneath their direction, their decisions.
But going back to Planty's question, what you asked, that's kind of what makes us
different,
a hell of a lot more solid in comparison to
there's
what we're reading about.
Everything's in-house with us. Our tech, we've got our own partnered broker. It's not
don't forget,
typical partner broker.
I can back him up here because I remember I think we set the business up back in 2021, and as with every business, it takes a while to generate revenue, gain traction, gain the following. Every time that we were making money, we're investing. In these things,
took a whole
in technology.
Year
and there was times
2 years, but a whole year of
there was times where you think, God, look, we've had a half decent month there. Look, we've got a nice bit of money in the bank. We could have drawn the money out to the three of us, but we didn't.
No.
We've reinvested it for this particular reason.
we're
Now,
still-
Because you can see the industry's evolving. It needs to clean,
and
doesn't it? Like you're saying, it's like,
even when it was frustrating at the time, because you think, wow, that's successful. That month was successful. From where we were to where we are now, that's successful.
Yeah.
But ignore it. Keep investing. Keep investing.
And,
to get
I've
stronger.
said it, George will tell you, haven't I, George? I've said it for 18 months in the Discord, or Discord, Planty likes to call it, which is funny.
D-I-S-C.
In the Disco, you know, a bit of 90s classics, or 80s classics.
80s, mate, come on.
In the social club. But yeah, I've said it for 18 months that, you know, I believe where this goes is that regulated brokers in different jurisdictions will, like these brokers at the moment, will see how much money these prop firms are having the potential to earn. They're seeing everything that's happening in the industry. They effectively own all the data anyway, because they're the providers of the broker. And I believe this goes, as I've said before, that these smaller brokers, not the likes of IG on these big things, will internalise the prop firm model, because I think
Owanda have done
Owanda's done it, but I think it's the future. Darwin X,
But
I'll
if
shout
you-
them out.
Darwin X are
When
an
you say
excellent-
internalise it, for
Darwin
the
X-
punters, what does that mean?
So internalise it where they'll cut
Well,
all
rather than
props,
providing the
they'll cut it
competition
all,
with the platform,
and they'll do it internally, and they'll say we're not providing services anymore. But look, you've
The
traded with us for so
only
long.
thing the only reason I think the brokers like 8cap and Owanda have just entered, the only reason I think they're waiting and will slowly start to enter is that they've spent a year or 2 years
Researching it, we know.
reviewing the regulatory and the compliance landscape of the market. You know, we've been through it extremely in depth and thoroughly with lawyers, with the FCA director. You know, we know where we stand, and we not only do we know where we stand, but we know
What we have to do.
But we know why we stand where we stand.
And
We
what we
know
have to do.
why we're compliant
Progression.
and what makes us compliant.
Yeah.
But I was going
And
to
I
say,
think the brokers, as they speak to the regulatory, providers that their other businesses are regulated with, and obviously they don't want to put their main business in jeopardy. But once they understand that they can operate
Why would you?
this business
You wouldn't,
without
would you?
putting their main business in jeopardy, then why would they not enter the market? Because they've got the tech, they've got the
Yeah, but is that
the
something that
liquidity,
we
they've
want to
got-
see? I don't want to see that. Quite happy with the way
I'd
it
rather
is.
see 10 brokers enter than
Yeah, of course.
50 pop
50
up.
pop-up
Just
fly
here,
by
there, and
nights.
everywhere. I'd
Tim
rather
Pop-
there, I'd
Tim
rather
Pop-
there,
yeah,
I'd
Tim
rather
Pop-
there be a clean up and a consolidation in the market.
No, 100%.
it's what you said. You want there to be a barrier to entry. There wasn't one before. It was Wild
There wasn't
West.
a barrier
Everybody
to
could come
entry,
in.
yeah.
You're now with the right reason.
Yeah.
And you just touched on something there that we've said earlier, I've only been here 8 weeks. What you've said, you've done the background, haven't you? You've got a legal definition of what alpha cap is and what the industry is. There's not enough people out there that have done similar.
No,
is there?
I really do hope, and I've said
Has
it for
anyone
18
potted
months
anything?
that
No,
we
you
get-
are yellows.
you know,
Yeah, that's right.
obviously Drew's been through, runs different companies and stuff, but I think we need that, and I think that's where it goes. 100% that's where it goes. Because you can't have
No.
what's happening now. It's like cryptocurrency. You used to be able to advertise crypto on social media and stuff.
Yeah.
What happened? People came in, liars,
Well,
cheats,
it's the yeah.
and that's what messed up the
when
marketing of
when
it.
I say a clean up, I think it's good. I don't.
Very generous
I mean,
of you.
there'll be a lot of
Two
people that
shots.
are affected. I think it will take. I think there'll be a knock to the industry if another
Just-
10 firms go down.
It's-
So that's how business industry's evolved, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to then
But it's
build
so
up the
simple.
credibility.
I put a tweet out today
Your shot, Georgie.
about people
What
lying.
colour are we?
Just
You're
don't
yellow.
lie.
Yellow.
Yeah.
Why do you have to lie? You know, why do you have to lie because of greed?
But that's the
You're
central
at the risk
tenet
of
of what
getting
we do.
seven
Innit?
ball,
We
dropping
want to do
trousers.
it.
Probably.
That's not happening.
Anyone's got a question, you're going to answer it, aren't you?
Yeah,
as you're
exactly.
proving today.
Don't lie. And they've just been. Some people have been found out.
Shot.
But what I can't understand with our industry, and I'll never understand it, the prop firm industry is so much different to the deposit-taking broker industry, because I think the intelligence level of certain clients just isn't there. Because you get people that they've been lied to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, and they just forget. They forget the lies. They
Yeah.
forget they've been told that.
You're
some
my team, Planty.
Some people have said, "Oh,
Trying not to be.
some people have said, oh, it's live funds." They've said it for 2 years.
It's not.
And now they're saying it's not, but they've said it for
Well,
2 years.
but actually, that's probably quite an important thing to establish here now.
yeah.
They're not live funds.
But we've
They're-
said
they're-
that.
They're virtual funds.
But we've said that from the start, haven't we?
Yeah, but
It's
it's
always-
very,
yeah.
very.
It's very important.
But there's
to
multiple,
make that clear.
There's a few reasons why that's extremely important. But we've always said however you've been with Alpha Capital, we've had an FAQ, is our our funded accounts live funds, etc. The answer's always been no. They're virtual funds on
Yep.
whichever account stage you are. They're virtual. There's a few reasons. One, the regulatory compliance side of things. You can't give.
Well, we're not a deposit-taking broker.
We're not a deposit-taking broker. You can't give direct market access to clients. You can't let a client manage funds without a regulatory
You've just been playing
banner
yellow.
for them to be a money manager and manage our funds. Can't operate it that way.
I think it's important that people know this now as well.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, you're starting to see it. As soon as my Forex funds closed, you then saw overnight everyone just add virtual to the entire
Absolutely.
website. But
Yeah.
a lot
Because
of
it
them
is a
hid
virtual playground. Yeah.
But yeah, you're seeing it. You're seeing it a bit more prominently now. People are hiding it less.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it's important that I mean, I think everyone knows that it's virtual. They should do. But also, what I think the other thing that should be made clear is yes, it's virtual, but the point of and this is what I don't think a lot of even owners. Not a lot of owners.
What am I?
A select few of owners.
We've
I think
switched,
most
just
owners
hit whatever.
understand. But I think a lot of the actual industry don't understand what a prop firm, which whether you can call it that or not.
That'll
it's
do
more of
lovely.
An analyst
She
or
knows.
an analytics company.
Yeah.
But what we're really doing at the core principle of our business is sourcing talented traders and collecting data.
Exactly that. It's data.
And then with that
It's
data,
data-driven, yeah.
it's then what we do with that data on the other side with other businesses and connections, proprietary. But there's no direct market access. No one's getting routed direct to the market.
Yeah.
We're assessing data. What we do with it is our prerogative. Right?
Yeah.
Correct.
And there's some exciting things that we're looking at to do with it anyway. Not just in the, not
Yeah,
just
there's once you but that's what we're saying here, right? The differentiation of why the accounts aren't live and they don't need to be live.
Yeah.
It's because no one's getting the core principle for us is for. It's like the reason.
yes.
My God! Clancy.
Is that money?
Oh,
Is that money?
Shit! I know.
sake.
Oh,
Episode 2 done.
Come on, Charlotte.
Fucking hell!
Charlotte's back. Another thing to address, because we get a lot of questions coming in, and we're going to do a question thing afterwards, but one thing we need to address is these people that go, well, how do you pay people out? We're very similar to a broker. It's the same thing. So people need to understand this, and it's so important, and I want you to explain it, because obviously I'm a bit more excitable and I sell it better, but George is very black and white and tell you how it is. The most important thing, right, and this is right, when people start saying, well, how are you guys paying it out? Does people need to understand how a deposit-taking broker works and how the principal archaeology of it, or architecture of it, sorry, is very similar. And do you want to explain how a deposit-taking broker works and how that's very similar to a prop in its own way?
Mean, they are and they aren't. So there's a few ways that you can look at it, right? Like I said before, the core principle of what we do is we're a data company. We find talented traders from around the world. We combine that into one clean data set. We have rules in place in stage 1 and stage 2. So when you get to the qualified analyst account, by the time you get there, you've passed the stage. We know your trading style. We've reviewed it. You get into the qualified analyst pot. It's a clean data set to an extent. Minus removing the people that have slipped through the gaps. Within that data set is then you then look to monetize that data set however you see fit. Whether you're we can't go into the exact ins and outs of what we do with that data set, but as you know, we work with 2 or 3 different institutions to monetize that data set. There's no individual A booking, B booking that people keep mentioning. Are you an A book or we A book or do you B book? But A book or B book is irrelevant because it's all virtual. So you can't A book a virtual account and you can't B book a virtual account.
Because the conditions would never be the same either.
If it's virtual, the trades are virtual. So you can't even B book and internalize risk because there's no risk to internalize. You haven't got a deposit. A B book, even like a B book deposit taking broker, like just a standard go and deposit a grand at a CFD broker. If they're B booking you, that means they are the other side to your trade.
Taking the exact
so
trade.
you go long. Instead of them routing that to the market and to a prime liquidity or a tier 1 bank or whichever liquidity provider they have, and then the bank and the market is the other side to your trade, the broker just takes the other side. So you lose 1,000, the broker makes 1,000. You win 1,000, the broker loses 1,000. That's a B book. This model of the assessment companies, prop firms that everyone calls them, you can't B book something because there's no risk to sit on the other side.
There's no trades being
There's no
taken
deposit.
place.
It's all virtual. And again, you can't A book. There's two reasons. One, you can't A book. I mean, you can route a virtual trade to a live trade in the market.
Which is what our partners do.
But you can't. Yeah, but to an extent, you can't directly give a trader direct market access.
No. Or
So
direct fund, or real funds.
Or real funds, or route them live. So yeah, there's quite a few.
But I
think nuances to it that I think is good.
The thing is, what people need to understand in the industry in general, and why I get probably see me get a bit agitated by it, is people talk shit. And that's the bottom line. There's a lot of firms out there that are really good. I'm not going to name them now, but I've said a few tweets about a few of them that we speak to. Mm-hmm. There's one other firm that I don't really like the person that runs it, but it's got a good firm, good principles, good vision, doesn't talk shit, doesn't lie. But there's a lot of firms out there that are lying. Do not get sold by the marketing. We said that from day one. We can come out and say, I have £2 million live funds. We can do this. Don't get served by the marketing. Hone your skills. Make sure that people know what they're doing.
Even on that though, don't get sold on someone gives you an extra 5% of your performance fee or an extra.
That's marketing.
But that's what I mean.
Or a salary.
The nuances of the marketing. Don't get sucked into these small changes that think that. I get an extra 2% or an extra 5%, or I get this or I get that. Look at the security of where the security and the structure of where you're going to spend your time. One, you're spending your hard-earned cash with someone. Two, you're spending your time. It takes time, effort, mental stability and dedication to. It's not a 1 month thing. It's 2, 3, 6, 12 months. Beautiful. We've had people that have been with us for a year and a half plus.
Like I said, that gimmicky stuff. There's a buy one get one free, but you've got to pay 20% on top. Well,
said you buy one.
If you do, I know exactly, but if you do the maths, that's still only 40% off. It's a long way round to doing 4% off. It's like stick with the guys that actually are there legitimately, like you're saying. You're not there to. Head and shoulders. Get the dandruff off. Remember? Watch the video.
I'm the air left too. Now I'm receding as well.
Anyway, but yeah, look, I think we'll wrap it up. But look, the industry is, I think, is moving in a good pace. It's growing tremendously. There's new players coming in. There's a lot of great firms out there.
Speaking of new players coming in,
here we
go! Put her down there, sweetheart.
I fucking want to chill him so bad now.
But,